The Kind Old Woman. Hello, this is Jana, and welcome to Story Nori. I'm back with another Hausa story from northern Nigeria. Our friend Umar is on the line from Kano, Nigeria. Hi, Umar. Lovely to have you here. What story have you picked for us this time? Okay, so let's start the story, and Umar, please stay around to play the part of Gizo the Spider and the Bull. There was once an old woman who went to the forest daily to look for firewood. One day she heard a deep groan when she was gathering fallen branches. It sounded like a large animal. At first she was frightened, but then, when it groaned again, she thought, "That animal, whatever it is in pain." As she had a kind heart towards all living things, she ventured towards the sound. Eventually, she found a large bull who was very sick. "Don't you worry," she said, stroking his head. "I will take care of you. I know all sorts of cures for every disease." Somehow, the sick bull understood. He summoned up all his remaining strength and staggered to his feet. Then he followed the old woman towards her home. On their way, they crossed paths with the bull's former owner. "Hey, old woman, where are you taking my bull?" the man called out, with a mix of surprise and annoyance. The old woman pulled herself up, her ancient back as straight as a sword, and she spoke with a tongue that was just as sharp. "Now listen here. Your bull was abandoned and full of suffering." "You are right," admitted the man. "He is very sick, and he smells rotten. We can't stand his stench anymore, so we drove him out into the woods to end his days." When he said this, the old woman's eyes blazed. She wagged her finger and declared, "It is wrong to abandon a living creature who has served you well, even if he is dying. I'm going to take him home and look after him myself." The man scoffed, shaking his head in disbelief. "You're wasting your time, old woman. He'll never recover." The old woman continued, leading the bull towards her home. The villagers whispered praises and words of support as she passed by. When she reached home, she cleaned the bull, gave him water and medicine, and placed him on a comfortable bed of straw. His strength grew daily, and his once dull coat became radiant. The villagers marveled at the old woman's good fortune. Word spread quickly to the bull's previous owner. He came to the old woman's house and demanded the return of his valuable animal. But the old woman stood her ground, telling him firmly, "In days of despair and sickness deep, this bull you abandoned, left to weep. I nurtured him with love and care, his strength restored, a majestic affair. With me he'll stay, no more to roam, no longer yours. He's found a new home." The villagers cheered for the old woman. "Go away!" they shouted at the previous owner while waving their arms. "You can't take the bull! You drove him into the woods to die because you could not stand his stench." Then the old woman saved him with kindness and skill. He belongs to her now. Feeling outnumbered and embarrassed, the previous owner retreated with his head hung low. Now, all while this drama unfolded, a spider called Gizo was watching. He was a tricky little fellow with the knack of changing his form. He thought to himself, "Here's a situation where I can get a reward." He was so excited that he danced on his 8 legs all the way to the palace of the king. "Oh, your majesty, Gizo exclaimed, bouncing up and down. The king, amused by the spider's antics, smiled and asked, "What is it, little Gizo? What exciting news do you bring?" "Oh, great king, I have the most amazing news. But before I share, please tell me how many eyes you have." "I see you with my 2 eyes," replied the king. Gizo's 8 magical eyes swirled and rotated as he continued. "Oh, but your majesty, I have 8 watchful eyes, and you know what? My eyes are your spies. I see everything interesting in the land and report it all to you. So, you have 10 eyes in total. I've seen an old woman blessed with a magnificent bull. His beauty rivals that of a king's possession. Furthermore, I've heard whispers that she stole this extraordinary creature." That is indeed interesting information," said the king thoughtfully. He decided to send his servants to fetch the bull. Gizo was so sure that he would soon receive a fine reward that the hairs on his legs were trembling with excitement. But when the servants arrived at the old lady's house, the bull, now loyal to his kind-hearted savior, refused to leave her side. He lowed. "With strength and resolve, I proudly declare I won't depart from her loving care. When sickness plagued me, she healed my strife. This old woman is my guardian for life." The servants were surprised at this defiance. They grew angry and threatened the old woman, but the huge beast began to snort and stamp his foot. The servants grew frightened and returned to the king with the tale of the bull's loyalty and gratitude. And so the king gave up the idea of confiscating the bull from the old lady. And Gizo did not get his reward. "Bother! That old woman has got the better of me. For now," he said. And then he thought, "But I still have more spider tricks up my many sleeves." And so, with a bounce in his step, he scurried back to the old lady's village. His 8 fuzzy legs, ticklish with excitement, started doing what they did best, catching whispers and secrets floating on the breeze like an antenna. The village